Who do you think put this request in? Well, here's an article that tells us. The Catholic Church enforces Sunday law in Europe. Are we living in prophetic times? I don't have to say it's going to happen. I can say it's happening. And the Lord is calling us one by one to stand up for truth. He's calling us to stand up for all truth. Elijah had to stand alone in front of all those false prophets and say, this is the truth. He had to rebuild the altar. Now, if you understand what's going on, and you look across the sea to America, what do you think is happening there? Something different to Croatia? No, it's exactly the same. March 13, 2008, a resolution recognizing the first weekend of May as a Ten Commandments weekend. In America, they're trying to pass a bill. This is governmenttrack.us. This is where you can see what bills are being passed through the government. They are trying to pass a law to protect one weekend as the Ten Commandments weekend. A question. Which Sabbath day do you think they're going to choose? The blue Sabbath of the Lord Almighty or the blue Sabbath of the papacy on earth? I can assure you that it won't be the Sabbath of God. It'll be the Sabbath as requested by the papacy. But what about Bush? Wasn't the Pope in America now a couple of months ago, like I've just shown you? Yes, he was. So what has Bush personally, he himself, as the leader of Protestant America, America that's supposed to be protesting against the Antichrist, that's where the word Protestant comes from, to protest against the Antichrist. What does the leader of Protestant America think about Benedict XVI? This is the official interview with George Bush just before the Pope lands in the country. The official interview. Now I want you to listen to a couple of things. I'm not going to stop the clip. I'm going to let it play once all the way through. What does George Bush call the Pope? My Bible says in Matthew 23 verse 9, and call no man your father upon the earth, for one is your Father which is in heaven. Now listen carefully to what George Bush calls this Holy Father. The second thing I want you to look at is the surprise of the interviewer. He's interviewing George Bush and he says, you famously said when you looked into the eyes of Vladimir Putin, yes, you saw his soul. When you look into the eyes of Benedict, what do you see? Listen to his answer.
In order for a president to be effective, he better bring a set of principles from which he will not deviate and articulate them as clearly as he can, and then not worry about, immediate popularity, because popularity comes and goes, but what doesn't change are solid principles. And I'm going to remind his Holy Father how important his voice is in making it easier for politicians like me to be able to kind of stand and defend our positions that are, I think, very important positions to take.
Mr. President, final question.
Yes, sir.
You said famously, when you looked into Vladimir Putin's eyes, you saw his soul.
Yeah.
When you look into Benedict XVI's eyes, what do you see?
God.
Good way to end the interview.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. My pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I just shake my head. It's unbelievable. The Bible is actually true. It says there'll be an image to the beast. There'll be a system that drives the whole world back to Rome. America was started to get away from Rome. That's why they went across the sea on the Mayflower in 1620 to run away from the tyranny of Rome. And now the highest authority in Protestant America says he sees God in the eyes of Benedict. My goodness me. What's going on? Oh, I forgot. It's the fulfillment of prophecy. And you know what? The Sunday law, it's closer than you think. What about the new president? Luckily, what we've just seen is for the old president that's going out, right? He's not Obama or McCain. Luckily, they have different perspectives, or do they? Do they? Well, have a look at this article and tell me what you think. Can you see that? What does it look like to you? Does it look like they're angry to be there amongst the Rome's clergy? Or does it look like maybe there's some sort of allegiance or peace that they have with this system? Brothers and sisters, I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart that the Sunday law is coming. The ridicule that has been given to the Adventist church worldwide for 160 years is about to come to an end. You see, because you and I have to make a decision. Are we going to accept the blue law of God, or we are going to accept the blue law of the Antichrist? In other words, he that comes in the place of Christ. You see, we will have to fall under a law. Your choice, is it going to be God's law, or is it going to be Satan's law? Please don't think that it doesn't matter which day you serve. To you it doesn't, but to God and Satan it makes a massive difference. Listen what Ellen White writes in Testimonies Volume 9. She says, the agencies of evil are combining their forces and are consolidating. That's exactly what we see in the world today. They are strengthening for the last great crisis. Great changes are soon to take place in our world. Listen, and the final movements will be rapid ones. The final movements will be rapid ones. You know that this was written over 100 years ago? 100 years ago. Who could have thought 2 months ago that in the space of less than a month, governments worldwide would be able to buy up the banks? This is unheard of. It's actually unthinkable. But in Bible prophecy, it's a fact.